This is a 1974 Dodge Tradesman B300 camper van that somehow squeezes in sleeping space for two, a shower and toilet, a kitchenette, and a dinette sofa area, and it's all wrapped in pure 1970s charm. And then, because confidence was cheaper back then, it's got a 120 miles per hour speedometer staring you in the face like, "Go on! Ruin your life!" So here's the question. Would you trust a rolling apartment from the disco era to take you off-grid today? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CampAvto, the channel where we don't just review vehicles, we interview them like suspects. I think camper vans are the only machines that can smell like freedom, gasoline, and old upholstery all at the same time. My neighbor Bob says modern politicians should campaign from a van like this, because at least then, when they promise housing solutions, it would technically be true. Smash that button for more insane vehicles, because if you're still watching, you're either planning an adventure or you're about to make your mechanics kids' college fund a reality. Now let's roll the timeline back. Camper vans aren't some new influencer invention that arrived with hashtags and a ukulele. The idea goes way back. People were doing vehicle-based travel and sleeping setups long before the internet discovered the word Vanlife. The difference is, in the 1970s, the dream got bigger, more comfortable, and a whole lot more groovy, and this Tradesman B300-based build is a perfect snapshot of that era. Design first, because that's the hook. This isn't just a van, it's a retro home on wheels built by Open Road Inc., one of those companies that popped up because demand for rolling living spaces was absolutely exploding across America and much of the Western world through the 1960s, 1970s and beyond. It's based on the Dodge Tradesman B300, part of Dodge's B-Series vans made from 1970 to 1978, which means you're looking at a platform born in the age of shag carpet, 8-track tapes, and the confident belief that gas will probably stay cheap forever. I believe that optimism is still stored somewhere in the door panels. Then comes the living space logic, and honestly, what I like the most is how unapologetically practical it is. Inside, you've got accommodation for two, a shower and toilet, a kitchenette, a dinette sofa area, and an expandable double bed platform. That's not a weekend setup. That's an argument with your landlord waiting to happen. Up front, there are two captain's chairs, plus air conditioning, heating, power steering, and power brakes. Because even in the 1970s, they understood one eternal truth. You can be adventurous, but you shouldn't be miserable on the way to the adventure. Now for the kitchen reveal, because every camper is basically a cooking show with occasional roadside panic. The kitchenette includes 3 gas burners, a small fridge, a sink with running water, and cabinetry for storage. 3 burners. That's enough to make coffee, pasta, and a bad decision simultaneously. And the sink with running water is the kind of feature that makes you feel sophisticated, right up until you remember you're washing dishes in a vehicle that might also be your bathroom. Mid-video engagement question. Would you actually take a fully equipped 1970s camper van off-grid for a week? Yes or no? And be honest, because yes from the comments is easy. Yes at 2 a.m. in a campground when something makes a noise and Bob insists it's government raccoons is a different story. All right, let's talk tech, because under the retro lifestyle is a very real drivetrain trying its best. Power comes from the original 360 cubic inch V8, mated to a 3-speed automatic transmission. That's 360 cubic inches, about 5.9 litres, and I think that pairing is the mechanical equivalent of a 1970s handshake, firm, confident, and not particularly concerned about your fuel budget. The odometer shows 80,000 plus miles, which is about 129,000 plus kilometers, and that number tells you the same thing every vintage camper tells you. It has lived a life. Not a spreadsheet life, a real life. And then there's the drama, because every retro home on wheels comes with a relationship contract. The good news is this van was preserved with its classic charm intact, which is exactly why it's so appealing. The honest news is that preserved charm also means a new owner should expect the usual vintage camper realities. You're not just maintaining a vehicle, you're maintaining a tiny house that shakes, sweats, and ages like the rest of us. Parts, seals, systems, and all the little home-on-wheels bits can require patience, creativity, and the ability to laugh at yourself when you realize you've become the kind of person who gets excited about a cabinet latch. Legacy-wise, this is the retro edition of Vanlife, before Vanlife became a social media genre. It's a time capsule from the era when Winnebago and big campers became household names, and when the open road felt like a promise instead of a content strategy. It's not trying to be subtle, and it shouldn't. It's a rolling reminder that adventure used to come with analog vibes, real keys, and a speedometer that boldly suggested 120 miles per hour, about 193 kilometers per hour, even though we both know that was, let's call it, motivational. Tech and price, clean and honest, this is a 1974 Dodge Tradesman B300 based campervan built by Open Road Inc. with accommodation for 2, shower and toilet, kitchenette, dinette sofa area, and an expandable double-bed platform. It has captain's chairs for 2, air conditioning, heating, power steering, and power brakes, plus a kitchenette with 3 gas burners, a small fridge, a sink with running water, and storage cabinetry. Power is from the original 360 cubic inch V8, about 5.9 litres, paired with a 3-speed automatic transmission. With 80,000 plus miles, about 129,000 plus kilometres, shown, and 120 miles per hour, about 193 kilometres per hour, speedometer that's feeling extremely confident. Price details weren't provided in your source text, so I'm not guessing. No original MSRP, no highest sale, no current average, nothing invented. And if you want to become a channel sponsor for just $1, yes, $1, the price of a tiny modern coffee that doesn't even taste like coffee, the link is in the description. Timmy says $1 is basically nothing, which is also how Timmy ended up buying a limited edition fishing lure that turned out to be a spoon with glitter on it. Timmy, my friend, I apologize, but I respect the commitment to nonsense.